And we are very fortunate that in India, that call has been made long time ago. When India was in disarray, people were afraid of calling themselves Hindus. They were ashamed of it. At that time, in 1925, Dr. Hedgewar started a movement from a few people, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50 people, and it became a mammoth organization. India is still little viable Hindu place because of RSS, believe me. And the others don't care. This is okay. Our scriptures are okay. They are cosmopolitan. They are universal. Everybody can join it. People don't say, never say that we are Hindus. So therefore what I'm trying to say is, this is a very good day that the 5th Sarsanghichalak of RSS is with us, and he has led the organization wonderfly well since year 2000, and he has been Pracharak, full-timer of RSS for 51 years. And he has bachelor in engineering, in telecommunication, and those fancy things which are these days very popular, and he gave up all those careers for the sake of nation. He's a linguist, and of course inspiring figure, and I think I will request him now to give his message to us. Thank you.
And the distinguished delegates, sisters and brothers. After the inaugural address by Pujyavad Swami Dayanand Saraswati, I had been hearing the first session very scintillating presentations by the learned speaker about the future of Dharmic tradition in America. I have myself very much benefited from it. At the outset, let me make it clear, I am not an intellectual. I am just a man working in the field. The intellectuals think to find out solutions, and we try to bring those solutions into practice. I shall just present you a few of the challenges that we are facing in the practical field and our response to them. The first challenge is about our Hindu identity. This is especially so before the Hindus who are residing outside Bharat. In Bharat, because of the whole atmosphere pervades with Hindu sanskaras in tradition, children imbibe them as they grow in that atmosphere. Had the school education also been in consonance with that atmosphere, many of the today's problems would not have arisen. But even after 57 years of independence, we have not discarded the Macaulay system of education, which Lord Macaulay specially promulgated in this country with the express purpose of removing the children of Bharat from their cutting the root children or from their gurus, from their languages, and make them devoid of all self-respect. Such people who are devoid of self-confidence can only ape others, and in aping, they try to outdo even them whom they are aping, so that ultimately those people may accept them as one of their own. Macaulay has wrote to his mother, that they will be different only in the color of their skin, but in their mode of dress, food habits, customs and manners, they will just ape us. That is what happened with the people of our country. We expected that after independence, the things will change. They did not. Because the first Prime Minister of the country. He was a British choice. He had taken all his education in England since he was a child of 5 and imbibed all the sanskaras of that English culture. So much so that once he told the ambassador of America, John Galbraith, I am the last Englishman to rule this country. And therefore, nothing changed after independence. The same educational system, the same socio-political-economic systems which the Britishers had created in order to exploit Bharat, in order to fulfill their own imperialistic designs, they continued. And even today, we are in the grip of that old educational system, which is ultimately cut off from our past and which does not instill any self-confidence in the people. In the past, wherever we have been defeated, that is mentioned in detail, and wherever people have done something good, it has been completely, totally obliterated. In the last NDA government, an effort was made to just correct those aberrations, and immediately a hue and cry was raised in all the newspapers and all the academic platforms which were manned by the leftists, that saffronization is going on. Saffronization is going on. As though saffronization is something wrong. He said, yes, this saffron is representing valor, it is representing sacrifice, it is representing purity, and therefore if I saffron in the country, it is for the good of the country. But ultimately, when the government changed, all those textbooks which had been written by good historians, they have been removed from curriculum. And today, the some old textbooks are in vogue, in which the Guru Tegh Bahadur was a robber, and he plundered and looted Punjab. This type of the thing that has put into the minds of the younger children. Anyway, but one thing happened. Though Metale wanted that the whole country should be top of its moorings, but at the thought of saints and sages in the 19th century, right from Dayanand Saraswati through Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Vivekananda, Swami Ramtirth, Rishi Arvind, Narayan Guru, all those persons came one by one and they instilled spiritual confidence in the people. Similarly, there were so many revolutionaries who just went to the gallows with a smile on their lips just to liberate their motherland. Then there were also so many social reformers and political leaders, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Satish Chandra Pal, Raja Lala Lajpat Rai, Mahatma Gandhi, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, they appeared in the social and political fields and ultimately brought independence in the country in 1947, though in a truncated form. But then, as I said earlier, nothing changed. Fortunately, in 1925, Dr. Keshava Ram Hengevar, who had been a revolutionary also, and also had been a political activist, he could see through the British game, and he thought the Hindus form 87% of the population in this country. They are the backbone in this country. If the backbone remains weak, the nation will not be able to even walk. And the thing had reached such a pass that the Hindus were ashamed of calling themselves Hindus. They used to say, call us an ass, a donkey, don't call us Hindu. They will try to identify themselves as a non-Muslim, as a non-Christian, something nothing positive. Discuss this is negatively. Dr. Hengevar thought he should be removed. And therefore, on the Vijayadashmi Day in 1925, he founded the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh and boldly said, this is a Hindu nation. And so long as even one Hindu is there, this will remain a Hindu nation. And he began to consolidate the Hindus. And he wanted to consolidate the Hindus. At that time, people used to laugh at him. He has gone mad. His fit place in the lunatic asylum. He says, these Hindus, with so many diversities of caste, creed, language, etc., they say, are going to consolidate them? Look at that. 4 Hindus cannot go in one direction. One will go in this direction, the other in this direction, third in this one. Why am I going in this direction? Because all the others are going in other direction, so I am going in this direction. If at all find 4 persons going in one direction, be sure there will be 5th one being carried on their shoulders to the cremation ground. But he just evolved a simple procedure with the help of this Hindus who consolidated, which was based on personal contact, man-to-man contact. One man, second man, third man, to be brought together. And then he followed the Vedic principle. Sangachatvam. We must walk in unison. Sangach, samvadatvam. We should speak in unison. Samvo manasi janata. We should have same thoughts in our mind. Saman vichar, saman uchar, saman achar. With the help of it, slowly it began to build up. And within 15 years, by converting his every drop of blood into sweat, he ultimately was able to show, yes, the Hindus can be consolidated. And it was in 1940, when he was very much ill. Doctor advised not to move, but he went to address the valedictory function. And there he said, I am witnessing Hindu Rashtra in a miniature form before myself. Because in that training camp, people from all the provinces, right from Kutch to Kamru and Kanyakumari to Kashmir, had participated. After that, he just gave this responsibility to Param Pujni Shri Guruji Madharao Sadashirao Guruvada, who had come from the spiritual stream. He was the ordained disciple of Swami Akhandananda, who was Guru Bhai of Swami Vivekananda. At that time, he was the head of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission. So he took up the responsibility, and continuously for 33 years he strived, and he just spiritualized the whole movement. Not only that, he cadres to different fields of social life and asked them, study those the problems in that field, then collect together men who want to work in that field. With the help of that, you create new organizations which will ultimately think over the problems and try to find the solutions, and in order to bring those solutions to practice, they will create those organizations. And so many independent organizations grew up in the different field. Those organizations are today on the top. It was in 1949 that the Vidyarthi Parishad, the student movement, national student movement, it was created. Today, it is the foremost student organization in Bharat, just receding all the other leftist organizations to the background. Similarly, Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram, an organization working for the benefit of the upliftment of the Vanvasis. It was started in 1953. Today, out of 136 villages, Vanvasi villages, it has got direct contact with 60,000 villages. It is the biggest voluntary organization working for the uplift of the Vanvasis, and today a Vanvasi itself is heading that organization. Similarly, in 1952, Dr. Sharma Prasad Mukherjee wanted to just start the political parties which will be rooted in the soil of the Bharat. So some of our good Karyakartas, organizers were given to him: Deen Dayal Upadhyaya, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Lal Krishna Advani, Sudarshan, Bhandari, Kushav, many of them. And Guruji said, you have to work independently. They will all assist you. We shall have only just ideological commitment with each other, but not others. I prefer to do it separately. And today, it has become, formerly it was Janasangh, now it has become BJP, and it's become one of the poles, important poles in the political field. In 1955, Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh was established. That was the latest one. All the other communist organizations have all been there working for so many years. Today, it is the premier labor organization in the country. Similarly, it was in 1964, and that was one of the greatest achievements for Kushi Guruji, who was instrumental in just developing the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, a common platform where all the different sampradayas together. All those people are outside there. Every sampradaya, every pantha has become followers. They are looking very well after their followers. But some of them left out of it, just as other Vanavasis, tribal people, living in the forest, living in the hills. Similarly, those living in the hills are the slum areas. Those are the weakest thing in the Hindu society. And it is they who are being attacked by the predators, as our Swamiji has been telling in his inaugural address. So, where all the different sampradayas have come together. And the greatest service that was done by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad was in the first congregation in first of all it was established in Sandipani Ashram of Swami Dayananda Saraswati, and our Swamiji, Swami Chinmayanandaji, and our Swami Dayananda Saraswati had drafted the whole constitution of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. And it was in 1966 that the first global conference of Vishwa Hindu Parishad took place in Prayag, to the Kumbh region, where all the Dharmacharyas has congregated on one platform. And this was after 1,500 years. 1,500 years before, during the time of Harshavardhan, all the Shankaracharyas had come on one platform. After they never met. This was the occasion. All the four Shankaracharyas, Dharmacharyas, Nimbarkacharyas, everybody came there. 25,000 people participated in that. And then, after the establishment of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, they had got three things. One for the Vanavasis and the weaker sections of the society. Another one for the alienated sections of the society who had been taking their education in the convents, etc., being run by the Christian institutions. They were alienated from their Sanskriti, the second one. And the third one, those who were residing outside Bharat. That was the problem. It all started with this. That Sambhunath Swami, he had come there to meet the government officer and said that in our country, we do not have any pandits to just do the marriage ceremony. So therefore, we want you that some of the pandits should be trained to come over there. They said, we are secular state. We are not bothered about it. Secular state? And we all consider it to be Hindu nation, and therefore all look to this hope. And you are saying that, no, we are not Hindu. But somebody suggested to go and meet Guru. And then when he met and said that this is this thing, we have to go to the churches to conduct the marriages. So therefore, ultimately, Guruji thought, and this Vishwa Hindu Parishad came into existence. And today, it has got branches all over the world. And he is trying to consolidate all the different sampradayas and have a common approach to all the different problems that are facing the Hindu society today. So all these things, they have been going on. And because, and after the 4 generations are over, 80 years, and today the Hindus are confident, and they say, yes, we are proud to call ourselves Hindus. As the Hindus are becoming consolidated and confident, it is being reflected outside Bharat also. The achievements of Bharat, ultimately, they create a sense of pride in all our Hindu people who are residing outside. When the nuclear explosion was conducted in Pokhran, second one, in spite of the fact that America did not want it, and ultimately America stopped all the financial support, but still Bharat did not care. And you people sitting over here, they said, even if America does not help you, we shall help you. And they $4 billion in just a year. And then after 1 year, America had to come down. So you did all these things because you felt proud. Then on 6 December 1992, that structure, which was called Babri structure, that was demolished. That created a sense of euphoria throughout the world. All the Hindus felt proud. That emblem of slavery is gone. So that way, what is really happening in the renaissance of the Hindus there is ultimately being reflected in other Hindus. Today, all these things are not just something of exonic order. It is according to a plan of God. Because every society has to go through ups and downs. This is how the society moves. It moves in the form of a cycle. Just as a point in the circumference of a wheel comes down, comes up, comes down and comes up, and the axle of the wheel, that wheel moves forward. Similarly, every society has ups and downs, and through these cycles it moves forward. It depends how many cycles it will traverse. It depends upon the initial energy that is applied to it. Just as in the morning it was said that there have been civilization. They grew. They reached the pinnacle of their glory. They gave their contribution to this world culture. But ultimately when they go down, they did not have enough energy left to rise again. They just went into the oblivion, into the pages of history. But here in Bharat, we have just experienced so many ups and downs. If anybody wants to have a dark picture of the Hindu society, he can have enough material for that also. And if you want to depict a bright picture of the Hindus, you can have enough material because we have seen so many ups and downs. However, we are still living only because the initial energy employed to it is never-ending spiritual energy. The spiritual is not free, and therefore, before every rise, there is first on spiritual rise, and then socio-political economic systems. Now, the very first thing that is to be told our children is that when we say what is our identity is that we follow Hindu Dharma. Now, Dharma has been misinterpreted as a religion. And this is a Hindu religion. And therefore, the Islamic religion, Muslim religion, Christian religion, Hindu religion also. It's a wrong. Dharma does not connote religion. There is no word in the English language which can ultimately have the proper connotation of the word Dharma. That is special to us. And when we say Dharma, what does that actually mean? It means there are 4 types of existences. The man, the society, the environment of Prakriti, or the 4th one, the Almighty. When we want a harmonious relationship in all these 4 types of existence, then all those rules and regulations which bring about that harmonious development will have to be followed. And therefore, in our country, we have defined Dharma as Dharmo Dharayate Praja. Dharana Dharma Vidyahu Dharmo Dharayate Praja. Yasma Dharana Sanyukta Sadharmiti Manyate. That which sustains is Dharma. And therefore, in this world, all those rules and regulations which sustain our daily life, our social life, protect our environment, they all come under Dharma. And therefore, each and everything aspect of Dharma. Religion only one aspect, 1/4 of it. But all the other 3 aspects are, the aspects are my relationship with the society. The smallest form of the society is family. If you want that the family life should be without any hitch or it should proceed harmoniously, then everybody will have to do its duty. The duty is called Dharma. Matru Dharma, Pitru Dharma, Bhratri Dharma, Swasti Dharma, Pati Dharma, Pati Dharma. These are all dharmas. Dharma means duties. It does not mean Matru Dharma, religion of the mother, religion of the father, religion of the son. No. Similarly, Prativeshi Dharma. They how to have relationship with our neighbors. That is Prativeshi Dharma. Then Shikshak Dharma, Guru Dharma, Sevak Dharma, Chhatra Dharma, Swami Dharma, Sevak Dharma, Raj Dharma, Praja Dharma. So if everybody does correctly, then the society will develop harmoniously. Then we live in an environment, different environments, and one changes, and we have to change accordingly. We have to dress accordingly. We have to eat and drink accordingly. We have to mold our customs and action accordingly. So therefore, this is called Acharya. The third aspect is Srishti Dharma. That is, if the society has to be sustained, then it gets all its resources from the environment. But environment has enough to meet our need, but not our greed. In our greed, we have just tried to just plunder this nature. Those who consider nature is inanimate, they have in their greed played havoc with the environment, and today we are facing the problems of depletion of natural resources. I shall just tell you some of the World Resource Institute in 2000 AD, they had presented before all the environmental ministers of the different countries, what is the position? In the last 100 years, half of the wetlands have dried up. Unrestrained cutting of forests and conversion of forest lands into agriculture have reduced the forest area between 20 to 50%. 9% of the species of trees are on the verge of extinction. 70% of the fish sanctuaries have been exploited to the hilt. In the last 50 years, 2/3 agriculture area is affected by soil decay. The hole in the ozone layer has spread to 2 million square kilometers. These are some of the things. And as you know, in 2002, in New York, there was a meeting. In that meeting, 106 countries had participated, and their concern was how to arrest the decay of this environment. So there, it was for 4 days. For 3 days, they confabulated, thought of, and ultimately find out for 40 days which should be followed to protect the environment. They were all written down. On the 4th day, it was to be signed. That day, the delegation that had come from Bharat under the leadership of Dr. Karan Singh, they just circulated the English translation of Bhumi Sukta of Atharva Veda. It contained all those 40 points together with 22 more points were there. In those 22 points, we have Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. When that was presented, then all of them said, why did you not present it on the first day? We should have saved up the botheration of having discussion for all these 3 days. And ultimately, that Bhumi Sukta was adopted by that conference. So, how our things are. And just, I shall tell you, that our Vedas, they are a storehouse of knowledge. It's only how you interpret it. One of my acquaintances, he was here in NASA for many years. He has gone back. And then he says this Purusha Sukta is nothing but tapping up energy from the atmosphere. And then he had prepared a small model. He says, generally, a rotor rotates in a magnetic field. And it's rotated in a magnetic field, then the electricity is created. He said, rotor should be kept stationary and magnetic field should be changed. And you will get electric supply. And he has prepared a small model in which the one thing which has never happened in this world till now, that is, the output is thrice the input. He has given 126 volts output and the output is 303 volts. Current remaining the same. And he has demonstrated it. In 120 volts, you just light 2 tube lights. And with the output, you light 6 tube lights. And if you increase the number of the magnets, you can increase to 606. Where does it get from? It gets electricity from all around. Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasra Sahasrabha. Actually is positive. Path means negative. Purush means energy. So that way, many of the people are finding newer and newer ways of interpreting our Vedas. The Vedas can be interpreted in 3 ways. Adi Bhautik, that is pertaining to the physical earth. Adi Daivik, that is pertaining to the gods and goddesses. And Adhyatmik. So that way, these 3 types of interpretations we can get from this. And today also, if we have those interpretations, then we can find newer and newer inventions coming up. And many of the people there are today studying all those things. And as you will find that when these things will come up, then Bharat will come up and that will give you an equal price. And here also, we will try to take those cues from our scriptures and try to work it out so that ultimately we will find a socio-political-economic structure in keeping with our Hindu ethos, in keeping with our Dharma. So therefore, all those persons here, just as in the presentations of that, we must Dharmaize the America. Dharmaize America. What does it mean? It means that when we consider a person, it has got 4 aspects. The body, the mind, the intellect, and the soul. Unfortunately, the 4th aspect has not been discovered by the Westerners. They have accepted the 3 aspects, body, mind, and therefore they have developed a culture, which culture is competitive culture. And they want competition. They say, beauty competition, who is the most beautiful lady in the world. Then competition of physical prowess, who is the strongest man in the world. Then boxing bout takes place and Muhammad Ali wins, you say, I am the greatest, I am the greatest. Similarly, who has got the greatest intellectual capacity? Who has got the greatest mental faculty, developmental faculty? These types of these things, and they want to dominate the whole world, and the thing that is ultimately driving them is domination. You must dominate the whole world. And therefore in the West, whatever socio-political and other systems they have evolved, they want it to spread throughout the world, and through that they want to dominate the world. But the 4th thing is accepted, and the 4th thing is what we call as Atman. Atman, which we can experience only when we are in sleep, deep sleep. In the physical world, we are walk, talk, and all these things. Then we see dreams. In dreams also, we walk, we go forward, we sit, we talk, do all those things. And many of the rules and regulations of the dream world are quite different from the physical world. Sometimes you find yourself just flying in the air. Sometimes this dog comes before you chasing. You want to run, but ultimately you see that your feet are glued to the ground. And that way, slowly and steadily, we find. Slowly and steadily, we find. And ultimately, when the dog comes and you get woken up, and then they pass by. Now that is the teamwork, where mind and intellect are attractive. But there is a fourth thing, there are deep sleep. Then you get up from the deep sleep. What do you say? What a deep sleep I had. क्या मजा आया, किसको आया? The body was sleeping, the mind was sleeping, the intellect was sleeping. Who experienced that bliss? And that is the thing which joins us all together. Because Atman is Nirakar, formless, Nirvikar, attributeless, Nirahankar, egoless, Anadi, beginningless, Ananta, endless. And what is endless and endless? It is infinity. And if Atman is infinity, his Paramatman is also infinity. Atman and Paramatman are the same. And that same Atman pervades all of us. And therefore we feel that we should do something for you. We should help some person who is needy, who is suffering from pain. It's only because we are connected with that Atman, with that bond was there, it could not be there. And there are different layers. And therefore, our forefathers had said that why are you here living in this world? Only because this Atman, it is just surrounded by ignorance. And Paramatman is beyond all these things. And therefore, as you just cut the layers of ignorance one by one, then you go on rising and rising and rising. You feel one with the family, you feel one with the neighborhood, you feel one with the village, you feel one with the province and the country and the humanity, and then you feel with the environment also. And that way, ultimately, you reach Godhood, which is called from Narse Narayana. From this Atman to the Paramatman, that is called Moksha. So Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. These fourfold Purusharthas, they for our complete life. And when we say we are Hindus, we have inherited all these things from our forefathers. It is necessary that we disseminate to our children all these thoughts through small stories and parables which were taken recourse to by our forefathers to disseminate this philosophical thought to the common masses. To the common masses. Just one tell you a concern and finished, and that is, once Raja Janak was just sleeping, he dreamt, he saw a neighboring king has attacked him. In the battle, he lost, and ultimately he was present as a prisoner before the victorious king. The victorious king said, Raja Janak, this whole kingdom belongs to me now, you just give my kingdom. His governor was not small one, and he declared, whoever helps Raja Janak in any way, he will be just beheaded. So therefore 5 or 6 days he continuously tracked and tracked. Nobody gave him any food to eat, nothing of the sort. And in a very pitiable condition, he came out of his kingdom. And the first thing he did was to ask for something to eat before an Annasatra. That Annasatra said, well, everything has been exhausted. So he felt very much pain. Ultimately, the manager of that Annasatra, he just gave some crust which was there for preparing rice. Some crust was there. He gave him some crust and said, this is called Indian fortune. It was given. And he was very much pleased. And he was going to eat it. Immediately a hawk came and took it away from his house. And he shrieked. He shrieked, actually shrieked. And he woke up. All the Dasas heard those shriek and killed. Maharaj, what has happened? What has happened? What has happened? He began to wonder. What I am seeing just a few minutes, few seconds before, was that true? Or what I am seeing just now, is that true? Was that true? Is that true? Was such tha? Yes, such hai. Dasis could not understand. Maharaj, what is that? Was that true? Is that true? Then the Rani came, the courtiers came, everybody began to ask. And he only asked one question, was that true or is that true? In the morning, Ashtavatra Mahamuni came. Maharaj, what is that? Was that true or is that true? Because Ashtavatra Mahamuni is a yogi. to his yogic powers, he could know what had happened. He said, when we are there, before the Annasatra Adhikari, begging for something to eat, at that time, all these things, this mahal, this prosperity, this thing was there? Well, you know. When we woke up, then that Annasatra, your hunger, then that hawk, all these are they there? No. When that was there, this was not there, and this is here, that is not there, neither that is true, nor that is true. And immediately he said, then what is true? Begging before the Annasatra Adhikari, you are there or not? No? And surrounded by all your courtiers, you are here or not? You are there also, you are here also, you are true. And you means this Atman. So that way, through parables, these things, the philosophical thoughts, have been ultimately disseminated to the lowest rung of the population through Katha, Kahanis, Bhagavad, Ramayana, Mahabharata, so many pravachanakars giving these discourses, and ultimately these things have been ingrained by our population. And therefore, the response to terrorism is different in America than in our country. In America, it is the government responsibility to ultimately put a stop to terrorism. The general people do not participate in it. In our country, the general people participate in it. When the terrorists say, do not go to Vaishnav Devi Tirth, do not go to Amarnath Tirth, which will just kill you, more and more people will go there. Lakhs and lakhs of people will see what they. Government says, no, it's not safe. It's safe only in these days. To travel only in this. Do not hear. They travel more. They travel before that. And one interesting thing happened. Some villagers from a village in UP, both men and women, they went to Kashmir. Just to see how the terrorists shoot and how they shoot. Now, the terrorists are at a loss notice what to do. They can fight with the army, they can fight with the police, they can fight with the security forces. But what to do is unarm the people. That is the way Bharat has confronted terrorism. And this came to light only because all those persons were thickest class travelers. Because they were taught, therefore this thing came into mind. So because in America does not have such places of pilgrimage, there people can go, here also just as witnessing Vrindavan, so many people are going on there. It's only this thing will ultimately unnerve the terrorists. So this is how the Hindu ethos is ultimately influencing the people. It is this thing that we have to present there in the way people here can, the generation can understand. You are all looking into that facet. With this, I thank you all and thank you all.